Okay, hey, so welcome, week 2. So this week, it kind of be a little confusing, but we're doing the lesson 2 and 3 from module 2. Module 2 has 2, 3, and 4 lessons 2, 3, and 4. But we are going to do lessons 2 and 3. The reason it hits a little bit differently is because this is a 10-week class for summer, where normally a full semester class would be 16 weeks. So the schedule gets a little wonky. In this week, you're going to have 2 discussions and 2 writing assignments. Please ignore the little folder that says due on Monday because they're due Sunday, June 7th. But if you do get behind or if you need more time, that is okay. I don't penalize for that. If you have questions, I believe all of the links work. I believe. Please let me know if you find that that is not the case. Also, it suggests in one of the writing assignments where you're picking a project topic that you go through information in modules 3 through 5 to get ideas of what's available to you. So I will go through hopefully by midweek and get all those due dates in and open them up so that you can see everything. Apologies for being tardy with that. If you're at a point that you want to go through and you want to look at those modules, please text me because I will write it down. I forgot to write it down, but I will write it down. But just in case I run later than you would like, text me. All right, so this week you're looking at absolutism. So obviously in Europe, we have a history of monarchies, right? Somebody has to be in charge. We see in Rome, they had a Senate during the Great Roman Empire. But most often, the system of government was a collective authority in the form of a monarchy. It's really interesting because it predates our class, but the Magna Carta was signed in the 1200s. And what happened is the land barons got mad at King John, and for good reason. They had good reason. And so they made him sign an agreement that essentially said that the king was not above the law, and then he also had to make several concessions. But that happens in 1215, I think. So we see sort of after that, these land barons in all of Western civilization had land barons, nobles, nobility. They were more on equal footing with the ruler. The system of absolutism, and we really see it exemplified in France, is where the monarch is going to be number one. That's it. No more equality with these nobles. Monarch's number one. Then they also should have a second priority of taking care of those who are subject to them, their rights and their privileges. We see many interesting documents coming out during this time. Number one, I think, is the English Bill of Rights. It is linked in Module 2. Please read it and see if you notice any similarities to our own Bill of Rights. You probably will. Think of it. When they were forming our country here in the United States, the American colonies, when they're trying to figure out how are we going to govern, many of them had been English subjects. All of them actually were English subjects. So what's the law they knew? England. They picked the parts that they thought were best and implemented them, incorporated them into our system of government. So it's a fascinating study, especially as we approach the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. All right, so that also this week in lesson 3, there's some tidbits about science, changes in science, amazing changes in science, and mercantilism. So keep in mind, the economy is still evolving. So we see periods of time in Europe where people could produce more than they consumed. So then as that happens, then people don't have to produce all of their food. They can purchase it. And so then that opens the door for other careers. We see that happening. Well, then we have periods of plague, periods of crop failure, such as like the Irish potato famine, different things. But when we see that the food supply is good, We see boosts in population. We see boosts in alternative occupations. We see society start to flourish. Really, as advanced as we are, we still need that robust food supply. So it's kind of interesting, especially when you consider here in the United States, fewer than 2% of the population are involved in production agriculture, make their living from production agriculture. So that's not a very big percentage, but it allows other occupations, it allows exploration, it allows science, math, all these other careers, these fields of study to come into being when everybody's not consumed with just their daily subsistence. So we're seeing a real transformation, not only in governments, but in science, in marketplaces, many fields. So it's an exciting time. All right, reach out with questions. I will shoot to have everything opened up by midweek I just want to get all the due dates in there. Because inevitably, if I don't get them all in there, then it creates a big mess. All right, reach out with questions. Text me if I'm too slow for you. And I will be grading all of Module 1 this week. So if you get a grade and it's less than the full amount of points, please read the feedback, because there could be some helpful tidbit that helps you going forward. All right, reach out with questions and have a great week.